Hello students, standard 10, chapter number 15, probability. There is a probability what it is represent. This is like a chance. You have to study about the chance of an event in a experiment, right? So whenever in any event there are some chances are there. It's regarding the study. It is called the probability. Now suppose for the probability I take one of the simple example. Suppose I say I toss a coin one time. Right? We all are in a point. There are two sides. One is a head, another one is a tail. Right? So its total outcome. Whenever you toss a coin, then total outcomes you get. Total outcomes you get as a head or tail. So it means two outcomes you get. Right? So if anyone say what is the probability of whenever we toss a coin, then what is the probability of getting a head? Getting a head. So in a one coin whenever we toss, then one side is a head, right? And another side is a tail. So whenever you find the probability of getting a head, so in 9th standard you already studied that. Probability of any event. And our event is what? Getting a head. So how we can represent? Its favorable outcome. Favorable outcome is 1. Or you can say its number of trial in which we get the head. So here we get in only one trial we get as a head. In denominator total number of outcome which is a 2. So probability of getting a head which is a 1 by 2. Same way suppose I take another event which is a probability of getting a tail. Event F is represent probability of getting a tail. So its probability how we can write? Number of trial in which we get a tail. So here whenever you toss a one time then we get only one time as a tail. And in a denominator total number of trial is head and tail. This is the two outcomes, right? So 1 by 2. So in that case probability of getting head is a 1 by 2, probability of getting tail is a 1 by 2. This is called the probability, right? This is a very simple thing. Now I want to represent some theory which is given in your textbook, right? Suppose we toss a coin 1000 times, right? In which we get the head as a 545 times. Suppose 455 times, and suppose we get the tail is a 545 times. Out of 1000 times, whenever we toss a coin 1000 times, in which 455 is head we get and 545 we get the tail. If you take the summation of that, right, so we get the 1000 total trial. So whenever we find out the probability of getting a head, right, so how we can define probability of getting a head? So in which we can represent in numerator the number of trial in which we get a head. So out of 1000 times 455 times we get a head, right? So number of trial in which we get the head 455 times. In denominator we have to write the total number of trial. How many times do you try? 1000 times, right? So if you divide them, then you get the nearest value of 0.5. Okay. Same way, suppose I want to say find out the probability of getting a tail. The same way, whenever you want to find out the probability of getting a tail, so in numerator you have to write down the number of trial in which you get the tail. How many times you get the tail? Here we get the 545 times. Out of total number of trial we take the 1000 times, right? So here we get the 0.545. Right? Here I write the approximate value, okay? Because here you get the answer is 0.455, right? 0.455. 0.455 means what? Nearby the 0.5. Here is a 0.545. So this is a 1000 time, right? But some scientists or some mathematicians are there. They tossed a coin many a time. Okay. So here I represent the number. Then after mathematician here I represent the mathematician name here I write. Then after here I write the total toss. How many times they toss the coin? That thing here I represent. Then here I represent the number of head. How of tossing a coin, Ahmed D. Ghaffar. Ahmed D. Ghaffar. He tossed a coin 4,040 times. He tossed a coin 4,040 times. Out of that, he get the number of head as a 2,048. 2,048. So whenever we find the probability of getting a head, then what we have to do? In number of trial we get head upon total number of trial, 4,040. So it is an approximate value of 0.5, nearby the 0.5, right? Same way, second scientist, J. Carriage, right? J. Carriage, he tossed a coin 10,000 times. He tossed a coin 10,000 times. Out of 10,000 times, he get a toss 5,067 times. 5,067 times. He get a head. So whenever we find the head probability, so 5,067 divided by 10,000. So its probability we get 0.5067. Okay. So after J. Carriage, there is another third scientist, which is Carl Pearson. And he tossed a coin is a 24,000 times. 24,000 he tossed a coin. And out of 24,000 times, he get the 12,012 times as a head. Right? 12,012 times is a head. So probability of getting a head is a 12,012 divided by 24,000. So here we get the 0.5 approximate value. Okay. So you observe here that thing, and that table you have to remember for MCQ purpose. Okay, for MCQ purpose, maybe any MCQ maybe ask from here for 1 mark question. So Ahmed D. Ghaffar 4,040 times total toss, and out of 4,040 times you get the 2,048 times as a head. J. Carriage, this is a British scientist. Total toss is a 10,000, and out of 10,000 toss you get the 5,067 times as a head. Carl Pearson, he toss a coin 24,000. Out of 24,000 we get the head as a 12,012. So observing the three cases. Here you increasing the number of toss, right? As you increase your number of tossing, so you get the nearest value of 0.5, which is getting a probability of head, right? Same way, the 0.5 is getting a probability of head. So remaining events means getting a tails probability is nearby 0.5, right? So that way we can represent a probability of getting a head. It is given in a textbook. Okay. Now I want to clear with that thing which you study in the 9th standard, and now next what we have to study in the 10th standard. So in 9th standard you learn the experimental probability, or you can say empirical probability, in which you can define any event's probability, by number of trial in which event happened, in which event occur or happen, you can write. And in denominator you define the total number of trial. That thing you learn in a 9th standard, right? So this empirical or experimental, it means in that you have to do the experiment. Then after you can find out the probability, right? This is called the experimental or empirical probability. But every time we have to do the experiment, and then we have to find out, this is a take too much time, or it may be more expensive, right? Suppose I want to say I want to find out the probability of whenever we launch a satellite, then it is a failure, like failure of launching a satellite. What is the probability? Then it is very expensive and it is a take too much time. Another example, suppose I want to find out a building which is destroyed due to the earthquake, right? That means probability whenever we have to find out, then building means it is a very expensive, right? probability, it is take too much time or it may be very expensive, right? So after that, they take another probability which is a theoretical, or you can say the classical probability, right? So theoretical, or you can say classical probability. Classical probability. So that probability is, we can define based on the assumption. If any event is there, then its outcome we assume. Suppose I take the one coin, I take the coin, right? So we all are knowing in a coin there are two outcomes, head and tail. So based on the assumption, let me get a head or let me get a tail. Based on assumption, we define the probability. That probability is called the theoretical probability or classical probability. And that thing is our standard name. We have to define theoretical probability. That thing you already studied in a standard time, right? But this is a theoretical probability which is represented based on an assumption. Every event is equally likely. We define the theoretical probability. So its formula that P of E is equal to, means any event's probability we can define by number of favorable outcomes of an event E. Whatever event you take, that event's favorable outcome is how many? That you have to write in numerator and in denominator. You have to write the total number of outcomes. So that formula you have to remember. Okay, this is very important. Based on that, you have to solve every sums in a chapter number 15. P of E means any event's probability is represented by number of favorable outcome of an event E upon total number of outcomes. Right? This is called the theoretical probability. Right? Now we have to define the next one. Suppose I take one of the example. Okay, which is very simple. I take the very simple example. So if I take if I say if we toss a coin means coin we have to toss a one time only, right? Then find out the probability of getting a head as well as getting a tail. So it is very simple. For that, suppose I take the for finding out first thing, probability of getting a head, I take the E event, right? I take the E event. E event is what is represent the probability of getting a head. Probability of getting a head. This is a represent the event E. Now its probability how we can define? As here I represent the, right? Here I represent the, in that formula, number of favorable outcome of event E we have to write in numerator. So number of favorable outcome we have to write. Number of favorable outcomes to event E or of event E is what? Getting a head outcome. Whenever you toss a one time coin, then you get a head only one time. So this is a one. Total number of outcome. Whenever you toss a coin, then total number of outcomes is how many possible? Is 2. Which two outcomes? Head and tail. These two outcomes is the total number of outcomes. So that event probability we can represent, P of E is represented by number of that formula you have to write here. Number of favorable outcome, which I represent. Number of favorable outcome is 1 divided by total number of outcome which is 2. So it means getting a head's probability is 1 by 2. Right? Same way, suppose I take the F is a event which is a getting a tail, right? Which we have to find out the probability of getting a tail. So I take the another event which is a F, which is represented as a getting a tail. Now as per the formula, if any events here in numerator, what we have to write? Number of favorable outcomes of an event. So here number of favorable outcomes of an event. Which event we take? Event we take is a F, which is a getting a tail. So event F. So how many number of favorable outcome? We toss a coin only one time. So tail we get only one time, right? So number of favorable outcomes of an event again is a 1. Now in denominator is what? Total number of outcomes. So total number of outcomes is what? Whenever you toss a coin only one time, then you get the two outcomes, head and tail, right? So here we have to write the 2. Which are the two outcomes? Head and tail, right? So that way we have to represent the event F probability. Event F is what? Probability of getting a tail. So in numerator, what we have to write? Number of favorable outcome, right? Which here I represent, which is a 1 only. In denominator, total number of outcome we have to write. Total number of outcome is how many? 2, right? So getting a tails probability is what? 1 by 2, and getting a head probability is what? 1 by 2. So from these two things we have to define the another thing. Here, whenever in any events outcome is 1, any events outcome is 1, then that event is called elementary event, right? Elementary event. Remember that thing. Elementary event is what? An event has only one outcome, then it is called an elementary event. Okay. So sometimes they may ask for the 1 marks. Elementary event means what? An event has only one outcomes, then it is called the elementary event. Look at here in that example. That probability of getting a head, in which getting a head's probability is favorable outcome is what? 1 only. Right? Same way, favorable outcome of getting a tails is what? 1 only. So whenever any events only one outcome we get, it is called the elementary event. Another thing we have to define from here. Here, these both are elementary event, getting a head and getting a tail. So both are events probability whenever we find, which is we get the 1 by 2, 1 by 2. So suppose you take the elementary event summation, right? This is the elementary event, E is elementary event, F is elementary event. E events probability is 1 by 2. So E events probability is 1 by 2. Here I put plus F events probability is 1 by E events probability is 1 by 2 and F events probability is 1 by 2, right? So we have to add them. So P of 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2. Now what we get? These two numbers addition. This is a rational number in which denominator is same 2, right? So numerator's addition we have to do 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is a 2 divided by 2 is equal to we get as a 1. So what we can conclude from this one? Here we can say whenever elementary events probability summation we do, then what we get? 1. Okay, so remember that thing. Here I mentioned sum of probability of all elementary event, sum of probability of all elementary events of an experiment is 1. Okay, so remember that thing. Elementary events probability summation is what? Always 1 is there. Okay, this is also 1 mark question is there. Now we have to learn about the equally likely event and not equally likely event. Okay, elementary event we define here. Now we have to define the equally likely event and not equally likely event. Okay, so here equally likely event, here I represent, and here I represent the not equally likely event. For that I take the example, then you clear that thing. Suppose here we toss a coin, right? Whenever you toss a coin and we all know we get the total outcome is a head and tail. Out of that, suppose you take the probability of getting a head, then we get right now 1 by 2, and we also find that the probability of tail in our previous example its probability is 1 by 2. Right? So observe that in that whenever we toss a coin, then whatever the head and tail, these two outcomes are there, both events are getting the same probability, 1 by 2 and 1 by 2. Right? So this is called the equally likely event. Right? That one is called the equally likely event. Now suppose for that not equally likely event, suppose in a bed, if I say in a bed there are 4 red balls, 4 red balls and 1 blue balls, 1 blue ball, right? If I say what is the probability of red and what is the probability of blue ball, then what you do, as per the we define the formula, numerator you define the favorable outcome, denominator you write the total number of outcome, right? So red ball's favorable outcome is what? In a ball, in a bag there are 4 red balls and total number of balls in a bag is what? 4 plus 1 is a 5, 4 by 5, right? And whenever the for finding out the blue ball's probability, so in numerator we write the favorable outcome of the blue ball. In a bag there are 1 blue ball is there, so in numerator we write the 1. In denominator total number of balls we have to write. So in a bag total number of balls is how many? 5. So we define 1 by 5. So blue ball's probability is 1 by 5, red ball's probability is 4 by 5. So observe that both events probability is not same, right? Or you can say not equally likely. Okay, so that is the difference between equally likely event and not equally likely event, right? In our textbook, they will take the we have to consider as a equally likely event. Okay. Now another example I want to take or event we have to learn, which is about the complementary event. Next is a complementary event. Complementary event. So for that I want to take one of the example. Suppose we throw a die. We throw a die. Die means what? You all know in a game there is a die, which is a we can represent in that way. In which we get the in one face is a 1, in another face there is a 2 point, and another face there are 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right? So we get the in a die there are total outcomes we get as a 6. Total number of outcomes we get in a die as a 6. Right? Which are the 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That 6 faces we get in a die. Now suppose I want to find out whenever we throw a die, then I want to find out the probability of getting greater than 4 outcomes as well as probability of getting less than or equal to 4 outcomes. Both events probability we have to find. So total number of outcome here I represent. Or whatever the event, its probability we have to find out. So its favorable outcomes we have to write. So getting a greater than 4 events probability whenever we have to find out. So its favorable outcome we have to define. So number of favorable outcomes of greater than 4. So tell me in that 6 spaces how many numbers we get greater than 4? These two outcomes we can say is a greater than 4 outcomes, right? So how many favorable outcomes we get? There are 2. Which favorable outcome we get? 5 and 6. These two number of outcomes we can say is a greater than 4, right? So its probability we can define. Suppose we can say probability of getting a greater than 4 outcome. In which in numerator we have to write the favorable outcome, which is a 2. In denominator we have to write the total number of outcome. Total number of outcome is 6. So we get the 1 by 3. Right? Now same way we have to find out the probability of getting a less than or equal to 4 outcomes. So its number of favorable outcomes we have to write. So number of favorable outcomes are less than or equal to 4. So how many outcomes we get if it is less than or equal to 4? This equal to is given, so 4 we have to consider, right? So then 4 outcomes we get, we can say it is less than or equal to 4. So this 4 outcome is what? Which one? 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? So its probability means probability of getting less than or equal to 4 outcome, in which favorable outcomes we have to write in numerator. So favorable outcome is 4. In denominator we have to write the total number of outcome. Total number of outcome is a 6. So here is this is a 2 2s and this one is a cancel out, so we get the 2 by 3. Okay. Now I want to say complementary events, regarding complementary events. Okay. It is what? See, greater than 4 event and getting less than or equal to 4, both event is called a complementary event. How you can say the complementary event? See, greater than 4, it means this outcome you get. Right? Less than or equal to 4 means this outcome you get. Right? So whenever we can say not greater than 4, this is a greater than 4, right? This is a greater than 4. But whenever I say not greater than 4, it means what? Getting less than or equal to 4. Right? So that type of event is called the complementary event. Okay. Suppose I say P of E. This is an event. But whenever I say the probability of not E event, it's complementary event. Right? So these two events, it is called the complementary event. Now I clear that thing with this one. See, suppose I take the event T as getting a greater than 4. Getting greater than 4 outcome, right? This is the event T. And this is a probability of, this is a not greater than 4. We can say this is a event. This is an event which is a not E event. Why not E event? Because getting a greater than 4, it's not E means what? Getting a less than or equal to 4. Right? So this not E means getting a less than or equal to 4. This is a greater than 4, or getting a less than or equal to 4 means so greater than 4 is not there. It means it is a less than or equal to 4. Right? So not E event is a getting a less than or equal to 4 event. So both events probability we define. Right? So that events P of these events probability is what? 1 by 3. Right? Getting greater than or equal to events probability is what? 1 by 3. Not getting a not E event means getting a less than or equal to 4 probability is what? 2 by 3. Whenever I take the summation of this one, then what I get? So here denominator is same, numerator's addition we have to do. So 3 by 3, so we get as a 1. Right? So remember that thing. I want to discuss that thing. In complementary events, probability summation is also 1. Okay, remember that thing. Complementary events, E and not E event, its probability summation is also 1. Right? So remember that thing. And another thing, that not E is represented by P of E bar. E bar means what? Not E event. Okay. So P of E plus P of E bar is equal to 1. As I told you, complementary events probability summation is what? 1. Okay. So sometimes they may say find out the not E events probability. Then that P of E goes to the right hand side. So you get the P of E bar is equal to 1 minus P of E. Okay. So that formula you have to remember. P of E bar is equal to 1 minus P of E bar. Okay. Now, 2 events is remaining. This is a complementary event. Then 2 event is remaining, right? Which is a sure event, or you can say certain event. Sure, or you can say certain event. Or sure event means what? The probability of event is sure to occur. Sure to occur is a 1. This is called the sure event. Suppose I say the sun is rising in east, right? The sun is always rising in east, so it is a sure event, right? So whenever any event's probability which is given as a occur to 1 outcomes, then we can say it is a sure event. Okay. And another event which is suppose I define sure event means what? The probability of an event is sure to occur is 1, then it is called the sure event or certain event. Okay. The probability of event which sure to occur is 1, then it is called the sure event, right? And another one is a impossible event. So impossible event means what? The probability of an event which is impossible to occur impossible to occur is 0. Okay, suppose I said which event is impossible to occur, which event we can say impossible to occur. Suppose I give the one of the example. Suppose sun rise in a west, so sun is never rising from the west side, right? So that event is never happen. So that type of event is called the impossible event, and sure event is represented by 1 and impossible event which is represented by 0. So remember that thing, some important points here I mentioned. Probability is always lies in between 0 to 1, in which 0 is included and 1 is included. Any event probability is always in between 0 to 1, in which 0 is included and 1 is included. Okay, and any event's probability is 0 means it is called the impossible event. Any probability is 1, it is called the sure event. And remaining events value is lies in between 0 to 1. Right? In between 0 to 1, which value we get? Like 0.2, 0.5, 0.7, right? 0.625. These all are, we can say, the value in between 0 to 1. So you have to remember, always your problem in that chapter, whatever they ask the question, in that question, the probability of any event, it always in between 0 to 1. Means in that form you have to get your answer. If you get that way your answer 2.5, then your answer is wrong. 3.5, then your answer is wrong, right? Suppose anyone says I get the 15.25 answer, so this is wrong. Why? Because any event's probability is always in between 0 to 1. Okay, and when you get your answer in between 0 to 1, see here I represent the any event's probability in that form, numerator and denominator we write, right? So your denominator is always greater than to your numerator. Suppose I said 1 by 3, right? Your denominator always greater compared to your numerator. Then you get your answer is in between 0 to 1, right? 0.33 is lies in between 0 to 1. So that thing you have to remember, because sometimes they may give the option as a there like that way 3 by 2. Probability of event is a 3 by 2. Numerator is greater compared to denominator, so which is not possible for any event's probability. Okay, your always denominator is larger compared to your numerator. Then you get your probability value is in between 0 to 1. Okay, so that thing you have to remember. Another thing about the probability, which is in a percentage, whenever they give the in a percentage, your our answer is between 0 to 100%. The probability of any events, it may be given in a percentage, so answer you have to in between 0 to 100. Suppose I said 50% I get the probability. So 15% means what? How we can represent? 15 by 100. 15 by 100 means what? 0.15. As I told you, the probability of any event which is lies in between 0 to 1. 0.15 is always lies in between 0 to 1. Right? So in a percentage, our value we require in between 0 to 100. Suppose anyone say that 225% we get. So this is a wrong. In a percentage, which value we require? In between 0 to 100. Okay. So these are the important thing. Right now, what are the mention in the board? Elementary event, and elementary event probability summation is always 1. Another thing, this is a complementary event. And complementary event means what? Event E and not E event. This is called the complementary event. Complementary events probability summation is also 1, right? So P of E plus P of E bar is equal to 1. So P of E bar is equal to 1 minus P of E. Another event is a sure event and impossible event. Sure event means the probability of an event which is sure to occur. It is a sure only. Then we can represent by 1, and impossible event means probability of an event which is impossible to occur is a 0. And our probability of value is always lies in between 0 to 1. Where 0 is included, 1 is included. In a percentage, the probability is in between 0 to 100%. Okay. Another thing, remember that thing, probability never be negative. Right? Probability is never be negative. Negative value is given, that is a false. Okay. Now another thing, card regarding things we discussed. In a one deck, there are 52 cards. There are 52 cards. Okay. because sometimes cards regarding sums they may ask. In a one deck there are 52 cards, and then 52 cards are divided in a 4 part. 4 part means suppose there is a club, right? Club cards. This is called the club cards, and this is a black card. This is a black card. Then after spade card. Spade means this one. This one is a spade card, right? This is also black. Then after heart card, heart. This is like that way. And this is a red card. And last one is a diamond card. Diamond card. And diamond card means this way. Right? And this one is a red card. Okay? So remember that thing. In a card we all are now. It is start from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jackal, Queen, King and S. That number of cards in each pattern we get. Right? Now out of that card, this 3 card is a, we can say is a face card. Because in S there is a no face. Jackal, Queen and King, there are a face card. Okay? So count it. So we get the 13 card are there. So in a club we get the 13 card, in a spade we get the 13 card, in a heart we get the 13 card, in a diamond we get the 13 card. In each type we get the 13. 13 goes are 52. Total is a 52 cards. Okay. So remember that thing. Here, if I say in a deck, means in a one deck, how many black cards are there? So you have to consider club as well as spade card, right? So total 26 cards are a black card. If I say in a deck, how many red cards are there? So 13 plus 13 means 26 is a red card. And total number of cards in a one deck is how many? 52 cards. Okay. Now another thing. As I told you, in a club card there are 13 cards. Out of 13 cards, there are 3 face cards. Which are the 3 face cards? Jackal, Queen and King. Right? So this is a 3 face card. Okay. Same way, here is again there are 3 face cards. Jackal, Queen and King. It means 3 face card in spade also. In heart also there are 3 face cards. Jackal, Queen and King. And in a diamond also there are 3 face cards. Jackal, Queen and King, which is a 3 face card. So in a one deck, how many face cards we get total? Total 3 times 4 times we get. So total number of face cards in a one deck is a 12. So remember that thing. Total number of face card in a one deck is how many? Is a 12. Okay. Another thing. Suppose I want to say how many number of black face card in a one deck. So which you have to include this. This is a 2 black types, club and spade, right? So its face card we have to consider. So 3 plus 3 we get a 6. If I say we want to red face card. So in a one deck how many red face card are there? So red is a 2 types, heart and diamond. So 3 plus 3 we get a 6 red face card. Okay. So card regarding terms you have to also remember. Right? So now we have to solve our exercise.